Lionel is widely known as a producer of model trains, and rightfully so, but not many know the history of the company's various ventures outside of the market of toy trains. Today's video will discuss many of these attempts, often strange and obscure. Now, many people know the basics of Lionel's early history, but what is less known is how Joshua Lionel Cohen got his manufacturing business afloat in the first place. In the late 1800s, Cohen developed a flash powder for the purpose of camera photography. This received the attention of the United States Navy, which contracted Cohen to produce detonators for use in naval mines. Using the money gained from the contract, Joshua Lionel Cohen started the Lionel Manufacturing Company in 1900, along with his partner Harry C. Grant. Before the success of the electric train venture of his business, Cohen experimented with several products. The most famous of these early non-train items is likely the ill-fated electric fan produced by Cohen, who once stated, "It was the only draftless fan ever made." Safe to say this invention would not bring the company fame. Another early venture from this business would be a tubular lighting device which would provide an atmospheric accent light for potted plants. This device featured a tubular design with an incandescent bulb powered by a dry cell battery. So yes, Joshua Lionel Cohen may have invented the flashlight. The product did seem to constitute some early success, but Cohen apparently lost interest in this venture and sold the rights to his partner Conrad Hubert, who would later go on to found the ever-ready flashlight company. In later years, alongside the emerging electric train line, Lionel offered a line of dry cell batteries as well as wet cell battery components. Now these were primarily offered to power the electric trains, as at the time home electrification was still relatively uncommon. Lionel's next venture outside the toy train market would come in 1912. The number 84 racing automobiles set would use much of the technology of Lionel's electric trains, with the automobiles using a track system and picking up power from a center rail. Now this set would be offered for 4 years until 1916 and is extremely sought after today. This set is sometimes actually regarded as the first form of slot cars. This would not be the company's only outing with automobile models. In fact, they would prove to be Lionel's most successful non-train items. Lionel would once again produce electric slot cars through the mid-60s and into the MPC era of the 70s. In modern times, Lionel offers a line of scale die-cast model race cars under the Lionel Racing moniker. Lionel also offered various metal toys separate from the train line. In the 1930s, Lionel offered 2 metal boats. These boats were much more than toys, featuring scale proportions and nice detail. The boats also featured a wind-up motor, which propelled the boats through the water. The Lionel 43 and 44 were very nice, high-quality models, even including display stands. Later on, Lionel also produced a rideable boat in the 1960s. In a partnership with Sears, Lionel released a large battery-powered toy boat which rode in a segmented plastic trough filled with water. In the 1930s, Lionel released the number 55, a remote-control aircraft which was attached to a large metal pylon, which rested on a simulated airport base. It was an interesting piece, which provided some simple yet entertaining action as the plane rotated quickly around the tower, simulating flying. The operator could raise and lower the aircraft, as well as make some simple maneuvers. In the early 30s, in an attempt to market towards a younger female demographic, Lionel released the number 455 electric range. This small yet fully functional range included a working oven as well as 2 functional burners. Other accessories included a muffin tin, potato masher, pot with lid, frying pan, and a tea kettle. Despite the piece's quality, it proved to be relatively unpopular. This wouldn't be Lionel's only failed attempt at producing a toy meant for girls, as in 1957 Lionel released its infamous girls' train set, which once again was also relatively unsuccessful. Now, of course, toy production would end in 1942, as Lionel focused on the production of equipment for use by the United States military in World War II, and in 1946, a full toy line was offered once more. Shortly after this, Lionel released its next non-train product, the 1214 stopwatch. This is certainly one of the most unusual products released by Lionel during the post-war period. For some reason, the company decided to produce an electric fence controller, marketed for cattle farms. This device functioned much like many other electric fences, but sported bold claims of being all-weather and needing no servicing, as well as 100-day battery life. Definitely a strange decision for the Lionel Corporation, at the height of its toy train production, to release a one-off product such as the stopwatch. Lionel's next ventures outside the toy train market would be some of their most well-known. Beginning in the late 1940s, Lionel partnered with the Porter Chemcraft Company to produce science kits, in order to compete with A.C. Gilbert's line of science kits. Lionel would offer many different kits, ranging from microscopes to sets with actual radioactive elements. Lionel's partnership would end in the 1960s, though, likely as a result of the A.C. Gilbert Company going out of business and Lionel's own financial troubles. Another more famous of Lionel's expositions outside the train world was the Arex line of fishing reels and gear. The story goes that on a fishing trip, Joshua Lionel Cohen's son Lawrence met a man named Bach Brown. Lawrence was impressed with the man's cast and noted his use of an Arex reel. Soon after, Lionel purchased roughly 2/3 of Arex stock, and by 1953, ads for the Arex company products were appearing in Lionel catalogs. The Arex products would prove to be relatively successful, but would fall out of favor by the late 1950s due to cheaper Asian imports. In the 1960s, in various attempts to diversify their product line, and with the onset of the falling popularity of toy trains, Lionel produced several different non-train products. The most popular of these were the many slot car sets produced by the company. Another product was a portable record player, and in 1962, a device which included a record player and a teddy bear. The device meant to simulate that the teddy bear was speaking. The set came with 3 records: rainy day stories, holidays and birthday parties, and lastly a sing-along. Lionel also produced several radiation servometers through the mid-50s to the early 60s. After the Lionel Corporation's acquisition by General Mills in 1970, production was mostly focused on trains and railroad-related pieces, as well as slot cars. By the late 1980s, Lionel's role was far different from the past. It was not only now producing trains as toys, but also as collector pieces. Lionel would be nearly 100% focused on producing model trains. In modern times, Lionel has 2 separate sides of the business, the most popular being the model train side, and the other side being Lionel Racing. Lionel's last non-train toy was produced beginning in 2016. Lionel Megatrax was a short line of tracked RC vehicles similar to Hot Wheels. Lionel produced several sets, and the concept seems somewhat unique and interesting, but the product must have not been a hit, and the line was quickly phased out. Overall, there's a reason that the Lionel Corporation is not known for stoves, or electric fences, or record players. But I hope you enjoyed taking a look at some of these strange products as much as I enjoyed researching them. Now, I'm sure I missed plenty while making this, so if you'd like to add something, please comment below. And if you found this video interesting, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to see more like this. Thanks.